Welcome to the Reconnection Club podcast, the show that helps parents heal troubled relationships with their adult sons and daughters. I'm your host, psychotherapist Tina Gilbertson. Each week, I'll offer you compassion, clarity, and personal development tips designed to help you reconnect, not only with your child, but with yourself. Now let's get started. In episode 199, I talked about what validation is, why it matters, how to do it, and when to use it. In this episode, I'll focus on you, the parent of one or more estranged adult children, because that estrangement may be the reason you became aware of or interested in validation in the first place. And because of that, I'm going to lead with a word of caution. In a sense, validation is a request for connection. You're saying, hey, tell me more about your experience. I want to basically know you better through this conversation. An estranged adult child might not be ready for that just yet. They may experience attempts at validation as pressure or even manipulation. That's one reason not to rush out and start validating estranged adult children. Another reason to avoid that is that effective validation usually takes practice over time, meaning whoever you start with won't be the recipient of your best attempts. So look for a practice partner who is very forgiving and wants you to succeed. I recommend yourself. Let me make a case for actively, intentionally, and explicitly validating yourself. It's not as fluffy or new agey as it may sound. I think it's a matter of practicality and utility. Validation is both unnatural and difficult to do well. Most of us are in dire enough need of validation ourselves that giving it away is counterintuitive and hard. So it makes sense if you're learning validation to start by practicing on yourself. That way you can practice and receive validation at the same time without risking a negative reaction from your practice partner. You can use the same two-step process I described in episode 199. Starting right now, whenever you feel anything, apply step 1. Try to give the feeling a name. Like, I'm feeling skeptical right now. I feel relief in this moment. I'm embarrassed about such and such. Or I just feel so sad. Once you've labeled a feeling with a feeling word, try to understand what it is specifically that's got you feeling that way. There's no need to talk yourself out of it or into a different feeling. Just figure out where the emotion came from and then apply step 2. Tell yourself, for example, no wonder I'm feeling frustrated. This is really important and it seems like my hands are tied. It's okay to be frustrated. What you're doing, remember, is making sense of the emotion. Rather than worrying about whether you're right to feel this way, just make sense of it. I feel this way because. And that is the heart of validation. You're saying this emotion, even if it appears overblown or wrong, is present for some reason, and therefore, no matter what, it makes sense. Once you become used to doing that, it'll become easier and more natural over time to validate others, even when you don't agree with them about facts. But still, those of us trained in validation with plenty of practice under our belts, we still get caught up in debating facts, and we forget our goal of validation, especially when someone's difficult emotions have to do with us. So don't be too hard on yourself if you struggle sometimes when validating others. It's complicated and it's hard. Here's a rather extreme example. If someone is terrified of you because they believe you're an assassin who's been hired to kill them, remember that validation means making sense of why they're scared. They may be wrong about you, but their feelings are perfectly valid. If you sincerely believed you were being targeted by a professional killer, I'm betting you'd be scared too. We all understand fear, even if we don't agree on present dangers. In validation, our job isn't to determine what's objectively true or to set the record straight. It's to understand what a person sees from their particular point of view and why, therefore, they feel the way they do. If you've been mistaken for someone you're not, if your motives have been misinterpreted, your first response is likely to be to fix that by setting the record straight. No, you've got me all wrong. I'm not a killer. I'm a dental hygienist, for example. But explaining and defending yourself, while those may be necessary at other times, are not compatible with validation. So, when you are choosing to validate someone, stay away from explaining or defending yourself or anyone else. You might get a chance to do that another time, but when you're validating, just validate. Identify the emotions and say why they make sense. You might say, if I thought you were out to kill me, I'd be terrified, so I can understand your fear. Of course, that's an absurd example, but it does illustrate the challenge of separating facts from feelings sometimes, and the presence of mind it can take to remember to validate feelings before bringing up factual inconsistencies. Remember, even mental health professionals get pulled into debates about facts when we should be leading with validation. So don't be hard on yourself when this happens. Just chalk it up to experience and go back to your practice. This is why validating estranged adult children should be considered graduate-level work, and why you'll want to take your time practicing with safer people first, like yourself. Estrangement has given you a forced vacation from your relationship. On top of the loss of connection to your child or children, it would be tragic for that time apart to be wasted. Use it to heal. Use it to learn and grow. And use it, if you're willing, to practice one of the most valuable relationship skills you'll ever have in your toolkit, validation. The most critical resource in your validation project is you. Whenever you ignore or talk yourself out of feelings you'd rather not have, you're not just coping. Unfortunately, you're also being invalidating toward yourself. And the way we manage our own emotions does inform how we try to manage other people's. Remember the 3 types of invalidating responses I described in episode 198? Look on the bright side, fix it, and let it go. Pay close attention to the way you respond to your own feelings from moment to moment. You can choose new responses for the benefit of both yourself and all your relationships. Once you can reliably validate your own feelings, the next phase might be to find someone every day to validate. Do it for the checker at the grocery store, the bus driver, your doctor, and anyone else you talk to. But be warned, you may find that people want to talk to you a lot. In the 4th and final episode in this series on validation, I'll address some common obstacles and frequently asked questions. Until then, please remember that you are a loving, lovable, and still growing human being. So please take good care of yourself. Bye for now. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Reconnection Club podcast, I invite you to check out reconnectionclub.com. The Reconnection Club is for parents at any stage of estrangement from their adult, child, or children. So whether you've just realized there's trouble between you, you've been living with estrangement for years, or you're newly reconciled but still walking on eggshells, the Reconnection Club is your essential resource for information, support, and continued personal growth. With our courses and workshops, expert interviews, monthly Q&A calls, and a friendly, active community, the Reconnection Club is a wonderful place to be for anyone suffering the pain of estrangement from an adult, child, or children. So check it out at reconnectionclub.com.